this is the reason why you see the higher total at 48, but there's reason to be skeptical. The Chargers have played some very bad defenses. The Browns, the Raiders, the 49ers, the Bills, the Chiefs, and I think that helped bolster their numbers a little bit. Seattle, on the other hand, has been very good on defense, allowing a top 4 18 points per game and a top 5 327 yards per game. I didn't think that was going to be like that this year. This is why I took their season win total under, but I'm a little concerned about it, but I think I have 8, so I'm still doing okay there. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked how good their defense is. The Chargers' defense isn't too shabby either, right? They're only allowing 23 points per game, 362 yards. So both of these teams have benefited greatly from the turnover margin. Seattle is number 1 in the league at a plus 1.3 turnovers per game. That's a lot. And Seattle is a top 7 at 0.7 turnovers per game. Okay. So they're both benefiting positive on the amount of turnovers. Both of these teams rank really low in pace of play. That's the key here. The Chargers are number 30 out of 32 teams at 58 plays per game, and Seattle's number 25 at 61 plays per game. So, I ran this through my algorithm and everything. This has a 24-20 game. Now, you do have a good point about the bye. That could make me throw me off the side. I lean Seattle minus 1.5 more than anything on the side part, but I'm definitely going under 48. That's my number. I'm going under 48 points. It's in Seattle. Their defense is playing great. And I definitely do lean minus 1.5 as well, though. So that's the only one we disagree on, my man.
Fair enough.
Do you have any other plays?
No, I'm good with these plays this week. Those are my 2 guys, and I'm ready to hear if you have anything else on your end.
All right, I just have a teaser. I think if you take Seattle down to plus 4.5, and they're at home, or you can also tease the Dallas Cowboys Tennessee game. Pick your poison there. I kind of like them both. Maybe even do 2 teasers. You take that from 41 to 47 points because Tennessee and Dallas are both huge under teams, and take the Vikings. The Vikings down to pick them, or it's actually plus 1. You can take them because I see them at minus 5 now. I like that teaser a lot. I think the Vikings, after losing to the Saints last week, I think they're ready just to come back in full force. Now I am concerned about Xavier Rhodes. That's why I'm not quite jumping on the side yet, but I do like how they have Everson Griffin back. Now they have a pass rush. And what are the Lions telling everybody with that trade to Golden Tate? They traded Golden Tate. What does that say? What does that say to the team? It says
they're giving up.
They're giving up. They're absolutely giving up. They're going to say, enjoy your holidays. Don't try too hard. Don't get hurt. We want you guys for next year. That's what this message. Trade your best receiver. What? Screw that, man. This is a perfect spot to fade the Lions. And I'm seriously considering taking that Vikings side too. I'm just waiting on the injury report. So that is my teaser information for week 9. But we have a big event this weekend, don't we, Danny?
Ooh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
UFC 230. And you know what I love about UFC? Different than boxing? A guy can fight that month and still fight the same month another time. Derek Lewis, it's crazy how fast these guys bounce back, my man. But why don't you're the UFC master, so why don't you get into the card a little bit here? Yeah,
so there's a lot of good fights on here, and if you're going to put some shekels down on these fights, you're going to see a lot of minus 300s, minus 400s, right? So there seems like there's going to be a lot of heavy favorites here going in. So there's going to be some plays here that, think about this before you drop your coin, and maybe you can make some extra money on a guy that you really like, okay? So here's what we got. So we got one of the fights here kicking off the main card. We got Derek Brunson versus Israel Adonijah. All right. That line opened at minus 350 for Israel and plus 265 with Brunson. Right now, the line is currently at minus 335 for Israel, and Brunson's up to plus 255. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's what here's what's going on, right? Israel Adonijah. I tell everybody, don't buy into hype, right? And when I watch Israel Adonijah's fights, the past few fights, all I heard was how great of a striker this guy is. He's a kickboxer. Listen, he's got 81 fights as a kickboxer. He's got 75 wins as a kickboxer, okay? 75 out of 81. So the guy's got amazing hands. He was also a boxer as well, okay? So he's got amazing hands, right? His ground game is it's poor, okay? Let's just say it's poor at best, right? Mm-hmm. And all the hype's coming in, how great of a prospect Israel. So I watch this guy, and he looks like a smaller John Jones to me, right? He reminds me of John Jones, the way he throws his punches, the way his body's built, but just a smaller guy. So the past two fights, I really wasn't that impressed with him, right? He beat a guy, Marvin Vittori, who is a great grappler, right? And he ended up winning on a split decision card, right? Didn't look good, but he came out and he was all pumped up and going forward. He fights Brad Tavares next, right? It was an exciting fight. He won that fight on a decision, right? Mm-hmm. Unanimous decision. But he looked really good doing it. And Brad Tavares is more of a grappler, right? So he went after Israel. So his grappling did get a little bit better, but you just don't improve overnight, okay? Now, Brunson is the opposite of Israel, where his stand-up is good and his ground game is much better, right? So Brunson's got this one punch knockout power, okay? His wrestling is okay. His jiu-jitsu is much better than Israel is, okay? So the problem with Brunson, he's fought some really tough guys here in the UFC. He's fought some of the top guys. He's got a lot of experience, right, which is going to be in his favor as opposed to Israel, who's only got a couple of fights in. He's got a ton of experience. But, man, his last 5 fights have not been impressive at all. They've been really unimpressive for me. You know, he's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. His fights are short, 1 round and done, either whether it's a knockout or, you know, something like that. TKO. He does go to some decisions here, but he's been taking a beating. His last fight, he lost in January. He got knocked out, right? So he could fight either one of two ways. He can be aggressive and go in on Israel, try to get him onto the ground, right? If it's not working, he's going to be exhausted and he's going to end up getting put to sleep or end up losing on a decision, right? So if you like Brunson, right, and you're a UFC guy and you watch this, you're like, you know what, I really like this guy a lot. I'm going to tell you to take him with a KO knockout victory, okay? Or just win it outright since your odds there are so good, okay? But I'm going to run with Israel this fight and to win in a decision, right? I can see him staying away from Brunson, working the outside, using his speed, pushing him, Brunson trying to get in and getting out of Brunson's attack mode to try to bring him down. And if he does not get taken down, he's going to wear him out, okay? So I'm going to take him on a decision, because laying minus 335 is not worth it for me. And I'm also going to take a shot and dropping it in this KO in the second round. I could see Brunson getting frustrated, going down and take a shot at Israel to try to take him down and taking a knee to the head, you know, getting counterpunched and going down. So I'm going to take a flyer at round 2, and I'm also going to take Israel in a decision. You're going to get much better odds that way. Obviously, it's much harder to pick, but that's the way I'm going to run with this fight.
No, I like it. Yeah, I'm seeing minus 320 here and plus 240 for Brunson. So, great number on Brunson. But if Israel's going to win this fight, not a bad idea to take a prop on get him making it to the decision. So if you don't think he's going to knock him out, might be the best way to do it.
Yep.
What do we have next?
We're going to do the main event here, which is Daniel Cormier, the champion, against Derek Lewis. All right. So this line opened at minus 600 for Cormier and plus 400 with Lewis. There's been juice on Cormier, so now it's minus 700 Cormier, and Lewis is at plus 450, right? So this fight came out of nowhere, right? Cormier won the title at heavyweight, which, by the way, he's never lost in any heavyweight fight that he's ever had, whether it's here, whether it's Strikeforce, okay? He came out in July with a fantastic victory over Stipe to win the title in the first round, which nobody saw happening, right? We're talking about one guy that's 6'6" and the other guy that's, 5'10", and boy, it was awesome to see, right? So he's rested. And the whole talk was Cormier wants to retire at 40. He wants these big money fights. Now he's the champion. He's going to wait until January. Well, last month, Derek Lewis almost lost the fight. After the fight, they asked him, hey, are you going to fight for the belt? And he goes like, I'm in no shape to fight for the belt, right? 2 days later, they both get put on the card for a month later, okay? So, listen, Derek Lewis, that last fight, he was going to lose, okay? His stamina is horrendous, okay? He was out. And with 11 seconds left, Volkov, instead of running away with that fight won, he won that fight in a unanimous decision. He gets knocked out with 11 seconds. That shows how much power Derek Lewis has. Okay. It's just, he's probably got the best power in MMA right now. His problem is he does not have any stamina. Okay. So he stepping up to fight somebody like Daniel Cormier, all right, who is a stamina king, never lost at heavyweight. I could see why the line opened at minus 600. I could see why, right? He's never lost. He just knocked out one of the greatest champs of all time in Stipe. He has Olympic wrestling background. His cardio is fantastic. He doesn't need to cut weight anymore to get down to the 205. So for him and everything he said, it's been better on his body. It's been easier for him to train, and it's been better for his stamina, his power inside the ring. Okay. His stand-up is, boy, it's really good too. When you see this guy and you don't think that he has anything behind him, boy, he's got some power behind those punches. On top of it, the way he fights, right? He's so stocky, so short. His shoulders are coming up. It's really difficult unless he makes a mistake like he did against John Jones. Unless he makes a mistake, it's not easy to hit him, right? And get a good shot on him. So, listen, Lewis took a lot of punishment against Volkov. He took 122 hits to the head. 78 of those are significant strikes. 33 to the body. 29 of those significant. 16 to the legs. 14 of those are significant. That's 121 strikes, significant strikes, in 3 rounds a month ago. Cormier's rested from his last fight in July. Okay, so I'm taking all this into play, right? So here's my play. I can't lay minus 700 for Cormier to win. I can't do that. So the play is going to be inside the distance. I can see Cormier wearing him out very early, wrestling, dirty boxing, getting him on the ground, wearing him out. The fight will end inside the distance. You can get great odds picking in round 2, 3, or 4, all right? And Cormier winning in those rounds. Your odds are going to be much better there, and you're going to get a chance to have the plus 150, plus 200 at that point if you're picking the exact round, okay? So if Lewis is not still gassed from last month, if that damage did not really technically hurt him on his body, it's round 3 or 4. If he's gassed, it's going to be round 2 or 3 finish. So my best play is, like I said, is to take round 2, 3, or 4, and play it that way. I think Cormier wants to end this fight early. He wants to fight Brock in January for the big money fight and make himself a fortune. So my bet is going to be for Cormier inside the distance, and prop bet it at 2, 3, or 4. See where your odds are. Play one of those, play 2 of those, and I think you'll be okay.
Well, nice, man. I would hope that they're laying over plus 300 on those rounds, because, you know, taking 3 rounds is you pretty much have to have over plus 300, else you're a loser there.
Yeah. Yep.
Derek Lewis, those back problems could flare up again. You know, remember we were concerned about them before. You never know. Less than a month is quick to bounce back for any type of fighter. You know, that's very quick. Psychologically, I'm not sure if he can be prepared for that. So I get what you're saying with Cormier. Just don't get hit with a big punch like when we saw John Jones nail Cormier, because I remember that fight too well. And of course, Jones got busted with steroids afterwards. So that was a little bit of a part of it. But Cormier's a great UFC competitor. He's been there a long time. And you know, if there's a UFC Hall of Fame someday, he might be in it. So, you got to respect what this guy's done. Well, my man, we got about a couple more minutes. You have anything else?
I got one left here, right? And this is my best value pick because of the way the card is all set up and really how these competitors are, right? So Chris Weidman going up against Jacare